Welcome back. I'm Lee Johnson, and if this is your first time here or not, and you're watching on the YouTube channel, please do all the usual stuff. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like. Give it a thumbs up, helps the algorithm. And if you can share to anybody who may be interested, comment, etc., etc. And if you are listening on the podcast, then you can leave me a comment. If you're on anchor.fm, you can leave me a voice note. You can leave me a comment by voice, which is quite cool. All right. Quick announcement first, seeing that says Monday. I have added the Reiki 3 attunement to my website, so that's now got all of the 3 degrees or 3 levels of Reiki attunement. It's traditional Usui. So if you would like to become attuned and you can heal yourself and your friends or your family or start a little business yourself, then give me a shout and you can order there. All right. So what I wanted to talk about today was something quite closely related to Reiki, but obviously extends into other things. And that is regarding the attunement itself and why attunement, I can't really say becomes necessary, but it makes life a lot easier, if I can put it that way. So I mean, this doesn't just fall under Reiki attunement itself. This falls under various initiations in magical groups, covens, etc., etc. And what's actually happening is you are being connected to a particular current, and through that connection, you are able to access that current itself. So let's have a look at what the current is first of all. So if we were to view reality as purely just energy, and we picture or visualize or see it or imagine that it is very much like Neo sees in The Matrix when he goes to the machine city and he becomes blinded. So he sees all these lines of energy that are flowing in and out. They are just, it's almost like it's non-stop. There's no line of energy which kind of starts at one point and stops at another point, and another line of energy that does the same thing. It is this constant flow of energy. And we speak in Kabbalah, they speak about universal energy, which is Avir, and then the actual formed energy, which is Ruhaniyat. So what this is that if you look around the room you're in now, all right, so you've got your computer or your phone, you may be sitting on a chair, you may have a desk in front of you, or you've got a couch, there's tables, there may be a lamp. So there's all these objects, these pieces of furniture, and there may be other people around, and these are all formed. They are formed bodies, if we can put it that way. So if we were to view all of this as lines of energy, we would see all of these lines everywhere. It's not just in the formed objects, it's flowing into the formed objects, out of the formed objects, and it's flowing everywhere. There's just this massive network of energy. And what happens is, when it's not formed, it's universal energy, and that is the Avir. And then when it goes into a body and it forms a body, that becomes Ruhaniyat, okay? So we have this universal life force, this universal life energy, this universal energy which is formed and unformed, all right? Now, when we talk about a current, you can imagine all of these lines, all of these, this universal, this Avir and Ruhaniyat is, let's imagine it as blue. So it's blue energy, and it's this mass and this network of energy which is blue. Then we have a red line that comes along, and this red line weaves its way through, and it weaves its way around and in and out, and this red line is a particular current. And for the sake of this discussion, I'm going to speak about Reiki and the Reiki current itself. So this red thread, this red line that's going through is, maybe I should have chosen a different color, because when we talk about red thread, it's a bit of a traditional thing. I'm going to make it green. That's completely different, so it doesn't tie in with red thread or white thread or silver thread. Okay, so we're going to call it green. Okay, so it's this green energy, it's this green thread that's weaving its way through, and this is the current of Reiki. And what happens is, when we get attuned, the master that is attuning you will kind of pick up that thread, that green thread, and will attach it to you. So it'll start flowing through you. It's also flowing through the master, but it's also then it starts flowing through you as well. So you get connected. Your own energy gets connected to this thread, this green thread, which is the Reiki current. Okay, and we may have a purple thread, which is from another tradition or a mystery school or something, and we get initiated into that particular current as well, and therefore we have this purple thread or line or energy current which is flowing through us also. So we get connected through various initiations, we get connected to these different currents. And these don't need to be physical initiations. As I said, we also speak about red thread, which is very much your initiation into a tradition which is operated by other people. Okay, and we also get the silver thread or the white thread, and this is very much a current which we are connected to via spirit. So what happens is we get initiated into a particular thing by spirit, and this is the white thread that comes in. And then as more and more people start to connect to this thread and start practicing the same thing and start developing this thing, this gnosis, this tradition further and further and further, more people get connected, it becomes red thread. All right, so we have all of these threads that we pick up and we attach to ourselves and to our own energy. Now, do you need all of this? No, you don't. Now, coming back to Reiki, when we speak about Reiki, a lot of people will do laying on of hands, hands-on healing, and things like that, and they use their own personal power and they drain themselves, and they then have to take time in order to recharge, and then they can do it again. Now, when you are connected to the thread of Reiki, the current of Reiki, that energy is flowing through you. You're not using your own personal power, your own personal energy, and you do not get drained. In fact, you get quite energized from the energy that's flowing through you. So what's the difference? Why do you get drained when you do hands-on healing without being connected to a current like Reiki? And why do you not get drained and feel energized with the current? The main reason, this is obviously personal opinion, this is from my own gnosis, so take it or leave it. If it makes sense to you, maybe develop it and fit it into your own model. But I believe that what happens is we will do a hands-on healing, and we'll use our own personal energy, and we sort of get drained, and then we have to take time and re-energize and build up the stores of energy. Now, the problem here is that this is largely because we are still in this frame of mind, we have this perception and this worldview that we are separate from this universal force, this universal life energy. And because we are separate, we then have to fill up the stores, then we can use it, which means it gets drained. Then we have to go back and fill up the store again and use it, and we get drained. However, if we consider is that that energy is flowing constantly. It's never ending. It does not stop. It is always in flux and motion. This is the universe in flux and motion, the cosmos in flux and motion. This is very much connected to chaos magic, chaos theory, in certain ways. But this energy is constantly flowing, but we feel like we consider ourselves to be separated from it, and therefore we don't allow it to continually flow. And this is the big thing. So, this all comes into union with the divine. It comes into the practice of yoga or yog, which really does mean to yoke or to join, to bring into union. So with yoga, the goal is to bring yourself into union with the divine, so that we are not separate from it. We are Brahma. We are not separate from that divine aspect. But we just consider ourselves to be separate, and therefore we remove ourselves from it, and we think we have to operate on this separate basis. But we are not. So when we do get into that union, we do then have the constant flow. There is no separation. There is no bringing the energy in and storing it and then using it, storing it and using it, and storing it and using it, because we are in unison. And the energy is constantly flowing. The difficult part here is that we still need to operate in this physical, organic, mundane world. We still need to go to work. We still need to talk to people. We still need to have conversations. We still need to have relationships. So we can't constantly be in this state where we are in union or samadhi, whatever terms you want to use to actually express that. But we can realize it, we can become aware of it. And once we become aware of it, we can then connect to it. Sometimes, because we're not in a constant union, not in a constant connection with that energy, we do sometimes find it a bit difficult to connect. But once we become aware of it, we can connect, when we need to. Sometimes we may just be having a bad day, we may not be feeling well, we may have just too many thoughts rushing through our head, and we cannot quiet ourselves in order to get that connection so we can use it. And this is where things like meditation come in handy, things like yoga or qigong, where you are working with the flow of energy, and through that working with the flow of energy, you are again building it up, especially with something like qigong. You're building up the energy, you are building up the guardian qi, and depending on what you're doing, that can be depleted, and therefore you have to build it up again. But if you are in this constant state of unison, this constant connection, it's constantly flowing. But as I said, we have to live as normal people, and therefore we have to kind of interact on a personal basis with other people. Unfortunately, we cannot all go to the mountains and sit or be hermits or anything like that. So we do need to interact. We do need to bring ourselves into this time-based material existence in order to continue operating as people. So anyway, so I just wanted to bring that up, and it kind of explains why we do these attunements or initiations, and why we get connected to these particular currents. And the reason is that we can then, because we have a specific thread or a specific current that is running through us, we can switch that on and off. In fact, with Reiki specifically, you do want to switch it on and off, because if you have that energy flowing through you constantly, you probably won't get much sleep. Other currents you may not want to switch on and off, if it's a current of knowledge, but at the same time, if you are constantly downloading this knowledge, it's going to be overwhelming after a while. So you do want to switch that on and off. In fact, some groups will actually close you, and as they are training you, will slowly open you up and allow the knowledge to come in little by little, instead of this huge big download you get, and it becomes overwhelming and you go completely insane and mad. And this is one of the, you know, people talk about raising the serpent, raising Kundalini, awakening Kundalini, and they say that they did it in such a short time. They did it like a week or a month or something, and they suffer. They have headaches. They have psychoses. They cannot handle it because they did it too quickly. So anyway, I think that's going off track. That's completely irrelevant to the topic. Maybe it's not, but yeah. Anyway, okay, so I am going to end this here, and I'll see you on Wednesday. If you do have any questions for Ask Lee, please let me know in the Ask Lee videos, any one of them. I'll pick up the comment, because I've only got one for this week and then we're finished, so I need some more questions. So you know, give me your questions, feed me your questions. Okay, so I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good one for now. Bye bye.